100 FM The Pike and Guns N' Roses at 7:31. So the Worcester Monopoly game comes out today, and they're having a big thing about it over at Union Station, and that's around 11. Now, I talked to the organizers. I played a little sound of that earlier back in June. They said that they had set up an email, that they had gotten over 60,000 emails of people suggesting what should be on the Worcester Monopoly board. He said that they're going to depend on the residents of Worcester to let them know what's going on there. But there is a controversy, and on the phone right now we have Scot. Is it pronounced Bove, Scot?
No, it's Bove.
Bove. Okay, it didn't have the little thing on the end. I didn't see that. But Scot Bove, who is the owner of Ralph's Tavern here in Worcester. That's Ralph's on Shrewsbury Street. Sometimes there's confusion. There's also Ralph's Diner. That's over on Prescott Street. But Ralph's Tavern on Shrewsbury Street is the place we're talking about. And you guys lobbied pretty heavy. You had a Monopoly party back then a few months ago. You were taking Monopoly money for beverages. You were really trying to get on there. And then what happened?
Yeah, we had a promotional thing in the beginning of June. We figured it would be great for the city, great for Shrewsbury Street, and great for Ralph's Tavern to increase business. So they had sold it as being a vote-driven process. So we dumped a lot of money and resources and effort into promoting the whole event. We had bands and a whole bunch of contests and stuff. And over 60,000 people had voted, and in reality, it was a pay-to-play. They'd never even counted any votes whatsoever. They were just taking upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 per square for the Monopoly board. So we felt pretty cheated over that.
So did they ask you to pay up? Did they give you a figure?
No, they actually sent down Mr. Monopoly, actually showed up at the event to help us promote it, but not once did they ever say they weren't going to let taverns or bar rooms be on the board. So they came in and essentially used the process for us to help promote it. And then in the reality of it, we never had an opportunity to even be on the board.
So they actually sent people to your party to help promote it.
Yeah, Mr. Monopoly actually came down and was distributing some Monopoly money to different patrons to pay for the hot dogs and the entrance fees and whatnot. So they actually took part in the event.
Wow.
So you never had a chance, not only because you had no interest in paying this thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to get involved, but because bars and restaurants at all couldn't be involved.
Yeah, and we never heard that until literally 4 days ago when we questioned if we were on the board or not. They told us that we weren't because we were a tavern. And had we known that, it's understandable. I get where they're coming from, I guess. But just be honest about it and be upfront with it so we don't have to waste our time and effort to get on the board and help promote them. In reality, we never had that opportunity to be on the board.
So that's really the issue here, is that using this guise of having the residents of the city be fully involved in choosing what goes on the board is not true. And then having people like you and maybe some other businesses, put in the time and effort to help promote it, only to find out you never really had a chance, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I congratulate all the nonprofits and the other organizations that are on the board. I'm pretty sure they didn't have to pay. But it's a community a community thing. And I don't know, the community should feel slighted on this because, 60,000 people took the time and effort to go vote, and it didn't really matter.
I have a question. So I was reading the Spectrum One news article on this, and you had said, and I'm taking this quote from the article, we reached out to Monopoly several times and had discussions on how we can work together. We wanted to support this venture, but Monopoly did not want to work together. I want to ask you, does that mean you reached out and made them an offer of money, or what does that mean exactly?
No, we had never done that. We had actually had one of the main people who organized our event in June, Brialad. She had a seizure, and then she ended up going into cardiac arrest, and she currently has some severe brain damage, and doesn't look good. So we had asked them, they had a GoFundMe page for Bree, and seeing she's such an avid Monopoly fan, she has 150 boards she's collected through the years of her own. Wow. We had just asked them to maybe think about donating to her GoFundMe page to help her out. So we weren't looking for anything. We were just actually looking for a little donation for Brialad's GoFundMe page.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yeah, which they didn't want any part of.
Yeah, Scott. I mean, I know a couple of prominent business people in the area who, were approached to spend tens of thousands of dollars and opted not to. But when I see Maria's Jewelry, Hot Power Yoga Center, Worcester Wares, Table Talk Pies, and Digital Credit Union is on the board twice, are we to take it that they spent the tens of thousands of dollars to get their squares on the board?
I'm assuming that. I have no first-hand knowledge of that, obviously, but from everything I've heard from tops, anyone other than nonprofits that made it on the board had to pay. And I think when I'd spoken to one person, they said, their offer was $5,000 a year for 3 years. So it would be like $15,000. From what I'm understanding, they had to sign your 3-year contract with Hasbro.
I mean, no offense to Maria's Jewelry. I'm sure she has wonderful jewelry, but it's not what I think of when I think of Worcester.
Right.
Coney Island's not on there, but Maria's Jewelry is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm only assuming. I don't know, but I'm guessing there were other places were probably approached and just decided not to pay. I'm assuming that. I don't know that, but
now
because I was looking at some of the people on the board too, and some people I've never even heard of, and it's all good. It's a business venture; they're out to make money, and I understand that. I had no problem with anyone that actually did pay. I just was a little disheartened with the process. That's all.
Right. They should have been a little more transparent about the process. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. Ralph's Tavern, is it the oldest tavern in Worcester?
Yeah, we had opened up in 1934, right after Prohibition.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's one of the oldest ones in the city.
Then what about Moyna's over here by the Palladium? Don't they claim to be the oldest tavern
They do.
in Worcester?
Yeah, I think they do, but I think their claim is that the longest tavern with the same family ownership.
Oh, I understand. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
We're
it was
number one,
1935.
depending on how you look at it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they were 35. We were 1934, but they run a great organization.
Oh, yeah,
that's job too.
Yeah, it's a great place too. Absolutely. So give the details. So they're doing the release of the Monopoly game, the official one at Union Station at 11, but then shortly after that, you're going to have your benefit. So could you give us some details on that and how people can help out, Bree?
Yeah, we're going to be 3 to 6 at Ralph's. We've got a wood chipper. Any patrons or anyone wants to come down and drop off Monopoly boards or Monopoly memorabilia, we're going to be chipping it, and for each board that we get, we'll be donating $25 to Bree Allard's GoFundMe page.
That's awesome.
So it should be fun. We're going to have some dart board set up with Monopoly stuff so people can throw darts at Monopoly and throw some water balloons and chip up the memorabilia if anyone feels slighted. Invite them to come down and enjoy.
Yeah, or just come down and contribute and to help Bree out too. I mean, if you just want to hang out and make a donation. Again,
exactly.
This is Ralph's Tavern on Shrewsbury Street, not Ralph's Diner on Prescott Street. And also, just because they have a wood chipper doesn't mean you can bring your yard waste there. Okay, just the Monopoly stuff. All right, this is not.
If you really want to raise some money, you can have people bring down pictures of their ex-wives, ex-husbands. You can raise a ton of money with that wood chipper today.
It's a huge wood chipper, so we've got plenty of room. It'll chip up to 8 inches. So
okay,
so we should have some fun with it.
All right. Well, Scot Bove, he's the owner of Ralph's Tavern on Shrewsbury Street here in Worcester. And, you're on Spectrum One News, as I mentioned, Telegram and Gazette, Mass Live. There's articles up there. And so we'll post the article and all the information about the benefit going on over at Ralph's Tavern today also. Let people know what's going on. But I appreciate getting up early and joining us. Thank you very much, Scott.
All right, Mike, Adam. We'll see you guys. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. That's Scot Bove, and he's the owner of Ralph's Tavern here in Worcester on Shrewsbury Street, not included among many places on the Worcester Monopoly board. There are some glaring omissions, I guess you could say, but we'll talk more about that in just a little bit.